This is a sealed box of 55-year-old vintage Vandoren clarinet reeds, and today we're going to see how they compare to modern reeds. Let's get into it. Now, there is a small story behind these reeds. They were once owned by Cincinnati Symphony's second clarinetist Carmine Campione. During his last few years of teaching, he gave a sizable stash of these vintage boxes to one of his final students. I would later meet that student while she was completing her master's during my undergraduate degree. In the reception following my senior recital, she handed me this box of reeds as a gift. Honestly, it was one of the most unexpected and thoughtful gifts I've ever received. So if you're watching this, Renee, thank you so much. You made this video happen. Now, let's get right into cracking this box open. The sticker sealing the box has already started to peel, so it shouldn't give us too much trouble here. I like the thick cardboard the box is made out of, and its fold-out design. That's pretty cool. Right away, we can see this little Vandoren logo that was made out of some paper/cloth type of material. I have a feeling it was probably there to help absorb moisture. And here we can see why it's so great that all reeds essentially come in some sort of reed holder these days. The tip of this reed has definitely seen better days. And I like how even 55 years ago, Vandoren was worried about and actively warning against buying counterfeit reeds. And finally, just looking at the reeds themselves, you can definitely tell that they are old. This one in particular shows the internal fibers of the reed breaking down particularly well. But as cool as the packaging is, we're really here to see how they sound. So let me go set up my microphones and then we'll do a quick play test. So for this first test, I'm just going to open one sealed Vandoren traditional strength 3.5 reed. When I opened a strength 5 vintage box in the past, I found this conversion to be accurate, so I hope that is the case here as well. So that feels pretty much like a normal blue box. It's a little bit on the hard side. Maybe not the best example of a blue box, but you know, I'm just doing one reed from each box, so that's how it goes. All right, now it's time for the piece de resistance. One reed from the 55-year-old vintage box. And as you can see here, I'm taking great effort to make sure it has gotten a good soak before I play on it. However, unbeknownst to me, I just made a grave error. Yeah. That reed tasted awful. 0 out of 10, would not recommend. Fortunately, I was prepared to suffer for your entertainment, and after cleaning my mouth out, I was ready to try the reed. So strength-wise, they're actually about even with the 3.5s, which is also what I discovered in my previous vintage Vandoren unboxing video. In fact, the strength 3.5 today is a little bit harder, but this was pretty close. In general, I like the sound coming out of this reed. It's pretty vibrant. It's maybe a tiny bit stuffy. I bet if I just lowered it a little on the mouthpiece, it would play a little bit better, but it has a nice core sound. So in general, these reeds aren't bad. I'm not sure I'd go out of my way to find a box like this, especially considering how much they might cost now. I'm sure they would cost quite a bit, but they certainly aren't the worst reeds I've ever played, and in fact, I think they played a little bit better than the standard blue box of today. So if that's your go-to metric, you know, I think these outdo that. Bonus reed alert. I know I said I wouldn't do more than one reed per box, but I really wanted to see if there was any kind of consistency in these vintage reeds. So here's one more. Yeah, so I definitely should have picked this one to begin with. This one was so much better. It's a little bit on the lighter side, but it's so much more vibrant, so much more core to the sound, a lot of sparkle in the sound. It really reminds you of the kinds of sounds coming from that time period. A little bit on the brighter side, but just so much color. So it's kind of a shame that I picked the other one. But either way, this was a lot of fun, just testing out, some vintage reeds. Anyway, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. That's why I did this video. It's been awesome getting to make these videos and actually have people care about this super niche clarinet world, and I'm glad to be able to do it. Thanks for watching, and happy practicing.